time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hey guys, welcome back. And all right, guys, this has been such an incredible week. Jason and I just got back from Los Angeles, and it's been crazy. I know if you caught my pre-records, then you know Jason and I booked a red-eye last night. So we flew out of LA at 10 p.m. We're on a 3-hour time difference. It's 3 hours later here. We got in at 6 a.m., slept for like 3 hours, and here we are because guess what? YouTube doesn't stop. I also, before I bring Jason up, I wanted to say thank you to all of you guys. The Addams family really showed up along with Zach's community, the Zach Pack. We announced our shows this week, and we're doing 3 shows. That's a part of a much larger picture, but you'll get tidbits along the way because Zach and I will be covering Real Housewives of New Jersey every week until we hit our tour. And we're coming to LA, Nashville, and New York. Guys, within the first 12 hours, we sold out of the VIP tickets for LA, and we even had to push it back, not push it back, but add more to just incredible. So if you guys want to get your tickets, you want to come have fun with us. It's not just Zach, Jason, and I. We have a few Bravo celebrity guests. We have comedians, content creators, YouTube creators that you all know. It's going to be so much fun. Come play with us. Whatever city you choose, we're going to have a blast. But that's not what we're back to talk about today. We're actually back to talk about the Real Housewives of Orange County, Season 16, Episode 8. We're doing a recap. And yeah, I have to do it with who else but Jason. He's just as tired as I am, so I feel like we're on the same playing field. Let's go ahead and bring up Jason. Hey.
Hi. Oh my God, I am so tired. But did you tell people, like, it's not just the show you're getting. You're going to have, like, the whole meet and greet if you get a VIP ticket at the beginning, right?
Right, which I have to say, Addams family be whooping it up. Yes, Joe Mendoza.
Yes.
Yeah, guys, so general admission is $15, and that's for the show. And then, like, for LA, we have an amazing after party after. You guys are going to freak out when you find out who's
when are
hosting
you
it.
announcing that? Because I think people would just come to where we're having the after party, too.
I mean, well, Zach wants to do it in
talk about
tidbits. He wants to keep on dropping more and more so people get more excited. We don't want to give all the information at once, but what I can say is Jason knows who we're partying with in LA, Nashville, and New York, who our openers are, where the after parties are, who's collaborating with us in these shows. You guys are going to freak the out. I mean, for us putting this together so last minute, like randomly, Zach and I jumped on a call one day and I said, Zach, would you ever want to do a live show? And he's like, well, I was thinking about it. I was like, let's do one together. He's like, can we do that? I'm like, yeah, we can do that. And I flew to LA to do a photo shoot with him in December, and now everything's piecing together. It's selling out, which is mind-blowing. I'm just so incredibly grateful. What an amazing week. I'm so happy, and I can't say it enough. And we're less than 4 minutes in with over 200 people in the room.
Oh, damn. All right. Well, listen, first of all, before we start all this, I do have to say, if you haven't gotten your tickets, you have to get your tickets now. It's going to be fantastic. You know, I wouldn't even tell people to, I don't even know what's going on in the kitchen, by the way, but I wouldn't even
It's okay. I have my mom in town. By the way, guys, I have my mom in town. She's running the faucet. She's in the kitchen. She knows now. I just muted it. It's okay.
Yes, someone asked if it's going to be filmed, Adam, but a lot of I just think, you know, I wouldn't say that this is going to be so amazing, but it's going to be great. I forgot what I was talking about. But I'm really excited for the show. If you haven't got your tickets, you have to get your tickets. It's going to be literally amazing.
Will we have sizzle reels and like fun tidbits? Yes. But will you see the entire show? It's not going to be the same experience. No. Just to be fair. Now, I feel like Jason just went to go yell at mom. I don't know. Murray, thank you so much for the super chat. Love you guys. And I'm super excited for this tour. Congrats. Thank you guys. Hi, Adam's mom. Bonjour. Hey, Adam's mom. You should film or record it. We have things that will be coming your way, but honestly, this is more of a treat for everybody who can make it to the show. And we want everyone who's making it to the show to have a full experience that you can't necessarily get online, because that's why we're coming to meet you guys in person. With that, Jason, are you here?
I'm here.
Okay. With that, I say let's
jump right in. But I also want to say congratulations on the Juicy Scoop interview. That was phenomenal.
Thank you.
It was so surreal when we went there, by the way, because God, I'm thinking like when I first moved to LA, and I want to say this is 2007. I used to watch the Chelsea Handler show every night, and I think it was like late
Yeah.
night. It was on like at 11 or 11:30, something like late. And the only reason I used to watch it was because of Heather McDonald. And I think it's so cool that,
I honestly,
this all
it
kind
makes me
came
like want to
together.
sit here. I was talking to my mom about this, guys, before, and we're going to jump into it. But before we even came on here, and I was like, this is such a full circle moment that, of course, I'm still a Cancer. I get emotional as shit. And it just is so mind blowing. And I can't say enough how grateful. Like, even when Jason and I went to West Hollywood, we took Zach out, and Zach is not used to the West Hollywood situation. So we took Zach out, and he's like, I'm coming out for one drink, and we're going to do a little promo video that says, hey guys, we sold out the tickets. And I was like, okay, girl, one drink. Yeah, that's fine. And then it was just fun because people were actually there who ran into us at the restaurant, and they're like, down with Jason, Adam, we're buying tickets. We're going to see you on tour. And I was like, no fucking way.
God, you got to feel so grateful when that happens too. And like the tickets with VIP tickets in LA are like $39 or $30. I forgot. 39.
So the first 12 hours or the first 24 hours, they were actually, there was a code. It was called Tea Time, and they were $29. Now they are $39. But I promise you guys, there's a whole pre-party. There's going to be hanging out, and it's not just Zach and I. It's going to be people who you love to watch on TV. You guys are going to freak out. But also, you know, somebody said in here too, Lala Kent is charging $50 per general admission and $150 for VIP tickets. I don't know what she has going on, but I'm wishing her all the success in the world too, because her fiance literally just was out here in these Nashville streets doing whatever he wanted to do. But when it comes to Nashville, somebody else just said, Adam, we can't buy the Nashville tickets yet. The Nashville
coming this week, right?
Huh?
Isn't that coming this week?
Yeah, the Nashville tickets are coming this week. LA and New York, it all kind of pieced together, and all the venues confirmed the same week that we made the announcement. It was hard to piece everything together because Zach's in LA, I'm in Florida. None of us are in New York. We're not in Nashville. So we were trying to piece it together and make sure that we exhausted all of our relationships to make sure that these were the best venues in the best locations with, you know, great hotels around them. That way it's not a shit show. It's an absolute amazing experience. So if you come in town and you're coming to visit, if you're not from Nashville, New York, or LA, you will not be disappointed. This will not just be a one night of a show. This is going to be a total experience. So
100%.
Okay.
100%.
So, now, down with Jason. Thank you. Oh, I'll never call you that again. Sorry.
Yeah, don't call me down with Jason. All right. Listen.
Okay. So with that, I say we jump right in because.
Oh, guys. And I did. We vlogged the whole time, but when we were running from appointment to appointment, we were on the phone or doing something. I'm going to drop the whole thing probably tomorrow, and I'm just going to put like the whole stuff that will give you some hints too of what's going to happen and what's going to come for the tour. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Definitely. All right.
Yeah.
So I know that we came back to talk about Orange County. I think, and I'm sorry guys in advance, and kind of not sorry because it's so exciting, but in the meantime, between now and April, our first tour date is April 7th. And I know that right now it's only 3 cities, but it's, like I said, a part of a much bigger picture. There's more cities to come. We will be pushing this because I want as many people to come meet us in person as possible, just so you get the experience and you see what we have as part of a grander plan, so to speak. But let's get back into Real Housewives of Orange County, because last week we missed the new episode. For some reason, they didn't have it. So we went a week in between season 16, episode 7 to season 16, episode 8. And I wanted to know what's going to happen with Noella, because Noella is coming in this season and she's coming in hot. And I don't know if she's playing her cards right, or maybe she is, and I'm just like not aware of how this is going to play out in her favor. But we do pick up with Noella, who arrived in Mexico. She showed up. She didn't know that you need a passport for Mexico, which is, I'll give you a pass, girl. I mean, I know you married wealthy and you were with a very rich man for 5 years, but she said she doesn't come from money. And for me, let's just say like we hit the jackpot tomorrow and we won $100 million. I still don't come from money. I know you need a passport and I'm not used to flying private. It kind of sounds a little off, but she comes in and she's like, okay, well, I'm here. And is it okay if I don't want to eat my food because I have a lot going on? Is it okay with Heather Dubrow? And if you guys remember from episode 7, Heather Dubrow said to Gina, when Gina vouched for Noella, Heather said, okay, I'll invite her, especially after she gave my daughter X-rated material. I'll invite her, but you're in charge of her. Do you think that Gina's regretting that at this moment?
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
just a little bit. Because last season when Noelle, or not last season, I always say that. Last episode when Noella came into the dinner, she came in hot. Now there are things I really love about Noella at this moment, though, and I always try to, hold off my judgments until we get through the season. At this
Right.
moment, she's a complete wreck, and I'm not a huge fan of Noella, but at the same time, I'm really loving her. It's the same thing with Heather Dubrow, right? Like, we needed Heather Dubrow to push reset on this franchise for this season. Do I necessarily love Heather Dubrow? Not really, but they both make great TV. But I feel like Noella is kind of, uh, she's very dramatic, whether it's at lunch with Nicole, and I know she has a lot going on, but
I have a
it seems like
conspiracy
she's
theory.
just kind of everywhere right now.
No, see, I think, we have coming up this season, we know that Noella and Bronwyn Windenberg, who was fired after this season because not only did she put her hands on her husband more than once, she came out as a lesbian. She has an entire family at home. Her family at home like makes up the break. So many kids. They've been together for a long time. She was battling with her sobriety and different health issues that she was really struggling with on camera. And finally, Bravo and the network, Andy Cohen, whoever the suit and ties are that are at the top of the food chain making these, like decisions, said, no, wait a minute. This is too much. Like, we can't, we're watching this bullet train run into a wall. We have to kind of give her a season off. Let's kind of take her out of the picture for a second and boom, let's bring in Noella. And Noella, part of her storyline, and we're only on episode 8. Mind you guys, we're going to have about 20 to 24 episodes, I'm guessing. Noella is eventually going to talk about her relationship with Bronwyn. And my conspiracy is that they want her to mention Bronwyn and talk about the relationship, the goods and bads. That way they can actually reintroduce Bronwyn next season and be like, okay, well, now she's here to mend her relationship with Noella. But then again,
Okay, do you think wasn't that my conspiracy? Was that
did I
mine?
steal that
Was
from
that
you?
yours? You might have stolen it because I have a lot of conspiracies about what
Well, I
happens
had the
behind the
same
scenes at
conspiracy
Bravo.
though.
But
Jason, I've been wrong before because I thought honestly they were going to do the same thing with Tamara. I thought they were going to give her a season off because her and Shannon had a lot of shit to like kind of go back and resolve. And then they gave her a season off, and then come to find out they gave her another season off. So I could be wrong. It's a conspiracy
I
theory.
would, it is a conspiracy theory. But I feel like, as I said, we brought Heather back, right? We kind of pushed reset on this franchise, which we needed to do. So love her or hate her, you needed her back. You needed her energy, her matriarch kind of ridiculousness where she controls every situation and every event. But next season, if Heather is sticking around, I feel like we need another powerhouse in this group because I really love this group right now. And Orange County is not disappointing me when I watch it every week. You have like Emily and Gina who are on the side, kind of like the shit stirs, the hens. You have Noella who's like the dramatic mess, kind of taking over for Bronwyn. You have Shannon who's like in her own bubble right now. It's so weird to watch Shannon right now because she's just kind of
She's
like off
actually
on her
taking a
own.
back seat, Shannon.
Yeah, and you know what? I kind of appreciate where she is right now, and that she is taking that back seat. We have Jen Armstrong who's just becoming interesting to me. But I did say when we started recapping Orange County that we are going to see Jen Armstrong and Noella kind of wait in the wings, but they're going to come full center, both their storylines. I'm enjoying the season.
I mean, to be fair, Denise Byers just said, I don't like Noella, and Heather is turning me off with all of this business of flaunting her wealth. Tacky. Noella is just unlikable. Anyone know why Noella despises Heather so much? Another theory, real quick, let me bring this up because Janelle, Adam, I watched your Juicy Scoop episode and I loved it. You were great. Oh, thank you. But
we're going to see Janelle in New York, by the way. I'm so excited. We almost weren't going to, but she
Janelle,
made it
we can
work.
pass the church together.
So I'm...
We can pass the church together. Okay, but let's get back to it really quick. I think Noella, Jason and I are doing the same thing while watching her. And we're having these cringe moments of like, it feels like you are... One, I can relate to it. It feels like you're 15 different emotions in the one same scene. And Jason always jokes with me. He's like, you start off the morning, you wake up at 6, you're this person. By 12, you're this person. By 4, you're this person. I'm like, I can't help it. Like, I try being in my head. It's an emotional roller coaster. And then with Heather Dubrow, it does feel like she's flaunting this lifestyle, but I don't know how different it is from like Lisa Vanderpump in like Villa Rosa to Bethany Frankel in these, penthouses in the Hamptons homes. Like, it just
different.
Well, she has it like that. It's her life. She's not, I don't know if she's flaunting it or if she's just kind of sharing with us her opulent lifestyle.
This is who Heather is. This is how we know her. Fancy pants, right? So
Right.
we know her as this. But when you've built a $25 million home, I can't even imagine what the upkeep costs or taxes in California are.
Oh my
Then you're going to
gosh.
go build a $15.5 million house in Mexico, which, by the way, the land, when you can see the Pacific and the Sea of Cortez right there at the bottom of like that, phenomenal by itself. You don't get what was it? You don't get one lighthouse, you get two.
Right.
Is that
Right.
what
Well,
happened?
and you get two different oceans. You get like it I don't get it because it makes me question, and I hope for Heather Dubrow, this is not, I'm not trying to kind of project anything on them. What scares me here is I understand, Terry Dubrow, Heather's husband, is very successful. He's a successful plastic surgeon. Yes, when you get to that point, you will have people along the way who will sue you, but he's been a producer on Botched for a long time. Botched has been around. Heather has also been very successful, and they have multiple businesses. But what makes me nervous is you built a $25 million home. You're talking about another $15.5 million home. That's
and
almost
really they want it to be for their kids and their family to enjoy
right.
as it goes on through generations. But I'm thinking, and maybe I'm mistaken, but when we were doing real estate for a hot minute, let me tell you, that's never happening again.
No.
In Mexico, I think when you buy land, it's technically you don't actually own the land as a foreigner. I think you are leasing the land for 99 years. So
Right.
I don't know how many generations it's going to go through,
Well, but maybe I'm sure that with Mexico, they have the opportunity to renew the lease or something like
for
that. Right?
$15.5 million.
I mean, listen, you better put some money in the savings account to pass it down. But hold on, let's get back to the dinner that night where we kind of picked up where we left off.
Yeah.
And it seems like Gina feels like at this point she should have never signed up to be Noella's babysitter. And, we know that the women are sitting there together and we get a FaceTime call where they're FaceTiming their husbands. John Jansen, who is with Shannon, is there. Travis, who is with Gina, is there. Shane, who is Emily's husband, is there. And then Dr. Terry Dubrow. They're all there having a guys' night. And I actually felt bad for Dr. Jen Armstrong because she's like, Ryan, who changed his name from Ryan just to be confusing as hell. Why wasn't he invited? And I was like, oh, that's not nice.
Because listen, we're getting a lot of editing and a lot of stuff, but he seems like a dick. Like we've been watching just
Okay,
the way
you
he
can't
talks.
say that.
Oh, sorry. He seems just kind of like, I don't know. And I don't know another word. I'm trying to think of words, but those all words I can't say. But he seems kind of like off, and we've seen him kind of just not have interest in any phone call he's ever had with her and any FaceTime he's ever had with her, especially the FaceTime when she's working out during the season. We don't see him like connecting. I do have to say this because this is one of my notes. On Jersey or Beverly Hills, and Jersey especially, where the husbands are like actual real friends.
Right.
But then you see the husbands of like Beverly Hills get together and it works. You know what I mean? Like it's a good thing. But then when you have Real Housewives of Salt Lake City and you put those husbands together, it's like, this feels like a very forced produced scene.
Right.
It didn't feel so forced. It seems like these guys, Terry and Shane, and can sit around and have a good conversation. And I really liked seeing the husbands.
I agree with you completely. I think what happened was it was a fluke. Like we got the premiere of New Jersey this week, and we see the husbands and they're very much involved. And for people who don't know, the Real House husbands of New Jersey are the only husbands that actually get their own individual contracts and paid. And people love them for it. I mean, they're traveling, they're doing tours in Atlantic City. They're going out and they're doing their own thing and they're monetizing off of it and kind of monetizing off of the celebrity that comes with the show. They're getting paid from all avenues. And I think Bravo saw, hey, we hit a mark right here. This is exciting. We tried Andy Cohen. Another thing that people might not know, Andy Cohen did an interview, I think it was like 8 years ago. And he talked about how originally they tried a house husband show and it was just not interesting. But for Jersey, it works because they've all known each other for years and years. And they have those like kind of close-knit Italian families where they've been to school together. They know each other's business. It is what it is. But I see where they're trying to recreate this on different franchises. Salt Lake City, I was mad at it. I was like, this doesn't even make sense. Orange County,
the only reason
I agree with you,
couldn't
Jason.
think of why Ryan the only reason I could think that he wasn't there is maybe shirt and shoes are required, because at some beach spots, you have to have a shirt on, you have to have some shoes to come in. Since he doesn't like to wear a shirt, maybe he couldn't get in. Maybe he was invited and we don't know.
Okay, well, let's move on real quick. Rosemary, over 400 watching, 165 likes. Smash that like button. Let's get to 200. Yes, I agree. All right, now let's keep it moving. Shannon was asked at the table if she would ever do a threesome. And this was an interesting question because I forgot being in Florida. Jason and I, one thing that has changed so dramatically in our lives in the year and a half that we've moved is in LA, we had a huge social circle. We had a lot of friends, like ask guys, go reach out to Zach. We had a huge social circle. We had a lot of friends. We had a lot of fun. And then I told Jason, I said, I think kind of the silver lining in moving to Florida was being able to focus on YouTube and focus on this and what we're doing and be able to grow the channel because we didn't have all of that extra noise in the background. It was really just this. And then when we're not doing this, we spend time together and we don't really have a lot of friends here. And when I'm sitting here.
No, but we're in the ocean looking at fish and sharks and shit. Like, I love it.
Right, definitely. But when we were in West Hollywood, like we're talking to our friends and like one of our friends is a couple and they're inviting a third party in. The other one's talking about threesomes. The other one's talking about being on Tinder or Grindr. And I'm like, oh gosh, we're definitely back in LA. And when Shannon was talking about it, she's like, I'm not opposed to it, but no, that's not something I would necessarily want to do. I was Team Shannon on this. Like, I don't think it's gross. I have no feelings against people who do it and entertain, like having multiple partners, whatever. I'm like Howie Mandel from Deal or No Deal. Like people cannot touch me. I don't want to be hugged. I don't like being like, I'm very strange and awkward and a germaphobe. Yeah. So I think
this is all true. Yeah.
I look at people like when I hear about threesomes and like just everybody inserting themselves into everybody else's bodies and whatnot. I'm like, no, man. You keep it to yourself.
Inserting themselves into other people's bodies. Jeez,
I don't know.
You're so graphic.
That's not graphic. That's like PG. I don't know what they do. I've never done that in my life. I don't know what you do.
Well, listen, I mean, like you and I feel the same way. Like you and I are very traditional, like when it comes to being in a relationship or whatever. And I don't know if it's just how we were raised or we are just watching our friends make a lot of mistakes. Because there's a difference between like a threesome and a throuple, right? I mean, there is and there isn't, but I just feel like there's always the odd man out. I have to agree with Shannon here, and I have to kind of side with her because in any one of our friends that we've seen take on this situation, someone has been left out and hasn't worked out. So
we've had a few friends who have engaged in polyamorous relationships. And
a few friends we saw this weekend, so maybe leave their names out of.
Okay, we'll leave their names out, but it didn't work for them. That's not saying it doesn't work. Like I've even watched different shows where therapists say like there is like an underlying like understanding where everyone kind of understands that each of the parties have their own requirements and needs. And it's just a lot. First of all, a relationship with one person is a shit ton of work.
Dude, I feel like I'm in a relationship with 5 personalities. So like I totally understand what it is to be polyamorous,
Okay. Now let's get back to it. Guys, if you heard the dogs barking, I apologize. Noella's trying to dominate this conversation, but Gina, she's giving me kind of bad weather vibes with Emily Simpson, and I'm loving them.
I was gonna say that, Adam.
I saw a meme. Did you see the meme where people are like, I would watch the show if Gina and Emily are off of it, and I'm like, are you guys out of your mind? They're like a tag team duo that's stirring the
No, they're like bad weather. This is like Hurricane Emily and Tsunami Gina just like coming in. Like they are shit stirrers, and I'm here for it the whole time.
I love when she said, Noella needs to learn how to exist in the room without becoming the room.
Hold on, I have the quote. I want her to exist in the room without becoming the room.
I just said that. You didn't. You just
recorded me. I honestly, that was like such a great. I'm going to use that on some of my friends because I know they don't watch Housewives, so I can get away with it.
They won't know where you're coming with it.
No, exactly. They'll be like, "That's amazing." I'll be like, "Yeah, I know. I got it from Gina."
That's like when we were in LA, and I think it was my friend. I think it was Jordan, and we grabbed. It was just we hopped around to a couple different places, and I picked up her drink or whatever, and she's like, "Oh my God, you didn't have to do that," and I was like, listen, babe, life's not all diamonds and rosé, but it should be. And she's like, okay, bitch, that is not.
Like, it's written on the wall at Pump. Like, what are you talking about?
But I'm going to try to steal it. And if you don't know the reference, then I sound cool. If you do, I just sound like an idiot. So I'll take it. Okay.
Adam, I love Gina and Emily this season. I've always been on the fence with Gina, and then I've always just really not enjoyed Emily, but I'm really enjoying her this season a lot. And then them together giving us that bad weather times, like, we live in OC, not Salt Lake, so it's going to be a lot of bad weather. I feel like
there's a
I don't know, I
difference here
really
though
like
between
them.
bad weather. Like, to be fair, there's a difference between bad weather and Gina and Emily. And the difference is bad weather, they really ramp themselves up, but they don't have like moments where like Gina is always on babysitting patrol, even with her best friend Emily, who is an attorney. She was talking about like they were doing meditation before dinner that night, and she's like, we have to figure out Tequila Emily and how to take you down on these Hulk moments. You've threatened to kill Kelly Dodd. You have literally, like, you said that you were going to throw Nicole's skinny ass somewhere. I don't know what you were doing. You've stormed out of places. You've like freaked out. She's like, so yeah, we're a great team, but I need her to not Hulk the out when she's drinking tequila. And I was like, oh, well, bad weather doesn't have that problem because they're just happy drinkers and they just kind of feel each other. So there is a difference here. Let's be clear. There is
listen,
difference.
and Gina did say she was playing middle management, and I do feel like she is the middleman trying to make. I feel like she has like a semi relationship with Noella, and then she wants to have a friendship with Heather. So she's trying to figure out a way to balance that.
Right.
And then on top of that, it's like Emily, every time she sits down at a party, just like she's like, oh, by the way, you weren't invited. Or like, when she sat down at Heather's house the first time, I forgot what she said, but she just spits things out.
But I think producers, this has to have been a
great
conversation. Producers were like, girl, this is one of your last seasons. Like, I feel like this is what Robin Dixon on Potomac needs to start doing. Like, they're guiding Gina.
Robin Dixon from Potomac needs to exit the show.
No, but I'm saying,
like, at this point, we've had like so many seasons with Robin.
No, I get it though, but a lot of people would have said the same thing about Gina and Emily. But I think producers, because we know, I've talked to many housewives at this point, and I've seen interviews of other people who have had conversations that I wasn't even a part of. And that producers have these conversations before, and they're like, this is what we expect of you. Like Crystal Kung Minkoff coming into her second season, season 12 of Beverly Hills, they told her, girl, you have to step it up. Like, we know that you were getting your feet wet last season. We need you to really get in there and get in the drama. So they are pushing them to do that if you want to stay on the show. And it looks like Gina and Emily are honestly, they're coming through with it.
It's like a restaurant in LA. If you can last 5 years, you're going to be there forever. Like, it's the same thing. You've lasted, you've upgraded, and you're bringing the drama. You're kind of giving us like I don't know what it is. They're stirring the shit when shit isn't happening. And it's just pushing the season along. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the tequila. Maybe Shannon, tequila everything, tequila Noella. We'll get to that, I guess, in a minute. Well, Tequila Katie could have a job if she came down to OC and decided to be a housewife.
Okay. she has a nicer home than Gina, so maybe. To be fair,
not location-wise, but okay, yeah.
Right. We see Gina and Emily, and they end up getting mad, and they feel like, Noella's called her a child, whatever. Let's end the night off. And then the next morning we wake up. Heather Dubrow wants to take Shannon and Dr. Jen Armstrong and a few of her friends, and she wants to go show them with her architect and her architect's daughter. This is the kind of house that comes with these developers. This is what we're looking at. And we want to go look at properties because we want to build our beautiful Cabo home. Like Jason said, they're looking at land that's $8 million just for the land, plus $500 a square foot, looking at around 10,000 square foot, which, to be fair, the architect was on point when he said, $10,000. Yeah, we can pitch that to you, but your wife, she's going to want, or 10,000 square feet, she's going to want 15,000 square feet. And Dr. Terry Dubrow is like, yeah, shit, you're not wrong.
Dude, so I'd be happy with 2,000 square feet at this point. But I don't understand having a home that she lives in a mall, a Galleria at this point in Orange County.
That's what she's used to. I'm trying to be fair, I'm with Shannon. Like,
100%.
Shannon had a big estate, and now Shannon's like, at this point, I like cozy. And Shannon's cozy rental is still over 5,000 square feet. That is a big home. But 25,000 square feet, you're in a little shopping mall.
When you have to plan dates with your children within the household, that might be just a tiny tad too big. However, for filming reasons and to have like parties at your house, we're living for it. I'm loving it.
Okay, so since, we know that they went and looked at homes, and we know that Gina, Emily, and Noella decided to go to this kind of sweat lodge experience where they're cleansing their auras and positive vibes, and they put them in this little kind of, I don't want to, this is not me being disrespectful, but it looked like kind of like a hut or like an igloo situation where they put the blanket down over it. And what they're doing is it's kind of like a sauna. They're sweating you out. And you hear the mics on all of the ladies and they're crying, there's snot coming out. There's like things secreting from their body.
That's not what I was hearing. Like they were making it seem like, we're going through this emotional journey and we're having this experience. And I'm like, all three of you bitches are hungover as hell. How much tequila did you drink last night? This is not a good situation for any of you. It's emotion from the hangover. Noella had a lot of tequila. I think she's like the tiniest girl on the show. So she had probably the same amount, which was a lot of tequila. And then you're going through already an emotional, traumatic situation with the divorce and everything. And now you're going to sit yourself, your hungover ass in a tiny hut and sweat your ass off at 107 degrees. That is not something that I would want to do at all. Bad decision there.
Joe Mendoza said, have any of you guys been in a sweat lodge? I don't get it. Guys, fun fact. My mom's in the next room. Hi, Mom. She knows this, but when I first moved to LA, it was a month before I met Jason, and my brother had just left. I was in Los Angeles by myself. I was 20 years old, and I had a fever, and I called the doctor and I said, what do I do? And they're like, well, you need to sweat this fever out. So like an idiot, I think, because my apartment complex at the time had a sauna or a couple saunas. I don't know what they had. They had a lot, but I went into the sauna and I stayed in it for 30 minutes. And instead of sweating out whatever I had, I elevated my temperature to like 105, something crazy. And I ended up having to go to the emergency room. They had hook IVs up to me. I spent like a day and a half there and just like kind of reviving myself. So now I don't with saunas, sweat lodges, you can keep that shit. And watching Noella have a full breakdown, pass out in the moment. And I agree with Dr. Jen Armstrong. She's like, wait a minute, hold on. First of all, you're emotionally like exhausted. Your husband is divorcing you. You don't know what your life is going to look like. All you did was drink last night. You were complaining about you didn't want to eat. Is that okay? So she didn't eat. And then you're sitting in a sauna igloo thing. That is like,
at that point, she's not thinking about if her shots were chilled or not. She's like, I had too much to drink, but again, just over the moon dramatic. Like I cannot hang out with, listen, I don't like Nicole. I'm glad we're not seeing her anymore and the face and everything. But when she was at lunch with Noella,
in the face,
Nicole's face, the face.
No, is you and Zach have to stop. Zach went so hard in on Jennifer Aydin's new nose job. You cannot talk about.
Oh, I like Jennifer Aydin's new nose job. That's not. I'm talking about Nicole from Orange County.
Okay, she looks like Pam Anderson.
No, she does not.
Okay, move on.
Looks like, I don't know.
What else do you got? Go ahead.
Okay. No, in that moment, I really felt for Noella because she was going through something and she wanted attention and she really needed some support at the moment. I was kind of like, Nicole, you're kind of a bitch. But at this point, I'm like, Noella, you do this every 5 minutes. Like, it's just a dramatic, I need attention. And then 5 minutes later, just like at the sweat lounge, you're coming back to sit down and be like, hey, it's crazy. I was just laying out a lot of emotion. That's not what it fucking looked like. We were taking your blood pressure. We were making sure you had a pulse. Like, what, you know what I mean? It was just kind of,
it's
dramatic.
You know what it reminds me of is the conversation we were having.
Don't say one of our friends.
Yeah. Yeah, we won't. We'll keep it moving. Okay. We'll keep it. Okay, guys, what a fun time in LA. Let me tell you that. I bet you Nicole looks better without her Pam Anderson makeup. Honestly, I think she's really pretty.
Pam Anderson makeup. I wore the same makeup in Cirque du Soleil for 13 years. Listen, that's not Pam Anderson makeup.
Okay, let's move it on with you in this judgmental shit. Jason, please keep telling the truth. Don't encourage this.
I'm just saying what I see. That's what I saw.
Okay.
I was like, I used to blend better when I was in the circus too.
Oh my gosh. All right. Okay. So moving on, we know that the women are doing their own things. And then finally after, Noella has to be revived. She passed out for a minute. And let's pan over. The women went home and they went to sleep. They were supposed to go to the pool and have some margaritas. They were passed out. This was a whole experience. But we see Emily and Gina, kind of the self-proclaimed bad weather of the OC, sitting down with Noella on the beach. And Emily's just like, you know what? I'm going to drop some facts here. Guess what? So are you excited? Are you flying back on the private jet? She's like, private jet? Did you guys get a private jet? And Gina's like, actually, we don't know if there's enough seats on the private jet. And then Emily's like, well, technically, Gina, I don't know if it's about the seats or if it's about the fact that Noella, you really weren't invited here. Like, Gina had to beg for you to come. And I'm
Right,
like,
but
okay.
Heather accepted that, and she did reach out and let Noella come. So I feel like there should be some kind of room for her on the jet, right?
Well, I mean, if you're yes, if you're going to invite somebody, then you don't make them feel that would like I could never do that to somebody. If I'm going to invite you, I want you to be in part of like the total experience, or else I don't want to invite you and then be like a mean girl ass and be like, you know what, you can't sit with us at this table. We're actually going to do this activity today. I know you're at the same hotel, but you're not invited to that. And guess what?
Well, yeah, it's like inviting someone, hey, like we took a limo, but you're taking an Uber. Like we'll meet you there. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like,
that's not cute. It's not nice.
Yeah.
It's not nice. But, Noella was not shocked. And to be fair, Gina was trying to, she's like, well, thanks, Emily. Emily's like, well, sorry, what can I say? Like, I'm a little bit of a shit stirrer. Call me shit stirrer, Emily. And Gina's like, I didn't have to vouch for you. I had a conversation with her. And you can see where Noella's kind of sitting on this for a second. She's like, I thought this trip was an olive branch. I didn't know somebody fought for me to get here. And if I heard just Gina and Emily's shit stirring ways of delivering this message, I would have felt like Noella too, being like, well, that makes me uncomfortable and kind of sad. Like, you really don't want me to be here, but am I here just because production or because I signed up to be a part of the show? But honestly, I'm not welcome here. What is the situation? I actually felt bad for her.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I mean, the conversation that Gina said she had was her kind of convincing Heather to invite Noella. So I don't think it was an olive branch, but I appreciated, I have to say, and this is where we get the roller coaster of Noella, the conversation later.
This Noella.
Yes. The conversation later that Heather and Noella had. I guess we'll get to that, but
yes, we'll get to that.
I feel like things are about to simmer down between Heather and Noella. Ish.
See, I'm not thinking that at all. I think, okay, we'll get to it. Hold on. Let's get to it. Before we do, we are sitting there, and in this conversation, I was reading social media and Twitter, and people are like, oh my God, Emily Simpson has dabbled. They were talking about dabbling in the lady pond and just engaging in different things in the college days. And I was reading where people were like taking this so far, and they're like, oh my God, she's calling her different names. And I'm like, guys, I had a girlfriend for 2 years in high school that dabbled, okay, while I was trying to figure my shit out. Jason had a full girlfriend who ended up, didn't she leave you for Drake Bell?
No, I was gay. That was the problem. But we actually met on a double date when we both thought we were gay. But we were gay.
He was on a date with a woman. Gay. You were on a date with a guy.
Long story. We're not bringing that story here. She'll kick my ass.
Why not? You want to talk about everybody else? Let's talk about you. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Anyways.
Is that a housewife thing?
Yes.
That you just used on me? Yeah.
Guys,
right, thanks.
600 in the room. Smash that like button, guys. Show some love. And also, if you haven't bought your tickets to see Zach and I live and a lot of amazing people, because we do have some treats for you, go to spillingtealive.com because the tickets are selling fast.
It's going to be so fun. And I see a lot of, we were at, I don't mean to sidetrack here, but
we're getting sidetracked. Go ahead.
We were at Pump and everything in our own little bubble that we used to live in LA. And I see a lot of people are asking how Lisa is doing. She is home. She is doing as well as she can be. A lot of flowers and support around her. So,
I mean, when you break your leg in a couple places, you're at the age that she's in, and you were thrown off of a horse, like how you're doing as well as you can be. Like I even read some really nasty messages where people just, I can never get to that level. Even if it's my worst enemy, like somebody who I really don't like, I wouldn't want to see them thrown off of a horse. And like, you and I both love Lisa. We adore Lisa. But like, when I read some of the messages, I'm like, this is still an entire human being. She is now a new grandmother. She is a mother. She has a business. She has a husband who needs her. It's not, when I read the disgusting comments, it really, like, it breaks my heart. But let's get back to it for a second. We pan over and we end up going out that night for a Mexican-inspired dinner where there are sombreros, there's the music. We do Casa Azul, like tequila tastings, which, by the way, guys, the one with the bell, if you haven't tried it, so good.
Clase Azul, like, no hangover, no. I mean, if you don't drink tequila, drinking Clase Azul, like, just neat, especially the reposado, like, really, it's so smooth and nice.
Joe Mendoza, even Jax. Yes, I don't want to wish Jax he also has a child and a wife. So no, I don't want to see Jax thrown off of a horse. Yes.
Yeah, we don't want to see him thrown off course, even if he's still an ass. But
Yeah, no, I can still think he's an ass without saying I want to see him have harm done to his life. So, anyways, getting back to it, the conversation comes up because, you know, Noella says, hey, I learned today that technically you didn't want me here. And Heather's like, wait a minute. Let me clarify. I didn't want you here, and I can't use the P word on here, guys. If you watch the episode, it will flag me. But I didn't want you here because you decided to give my daughter X-rated material as a gift. And she was like,
which is even a better way of saying it, because I don't think the word she used accurately described the gift that Noella got her. And Noella said, I got it from Amazon. It was, you know, it's supposed to be like a fun thing.
I looked up LGBTQIA plus gifts.
Do they have a section for that? I'm gonna find you some gifts.
I'm guessing, yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm sure they do. But in the things, it's like, I want to, you know, suck your or lick your and it's like it's just derogatory. It's not a gift that you give to a minor.
But we're seeing here though, and to me, it's Noella not listening again. Like it's not that she has to. I'm not saying listening like you have to listen to what I say. I'm like hearing, listening, that, you know, awareness really. And Gina tried to explain it to her, like, when you don't have to be the room, you can just be, you know, not the room. But when Heather explained it, it was almost like Noella felt bad. She's like, yeah, I would never want to gift something like that said those words to someone who is a minor.
She did actually feel really remorseful when she found out what the card said. And honestly, what I think happened here was I don't think this was a malicious situation. I think that Noella has a lot going on, and I'm not trying to give her a pass because I think it's still, do your research. If you're going to buy a game, especially an LGBTQI plus game, one of my favorite things about going back home or like going to West Hollywood, and I call it home for some reason because it's like the place I've lived the longest, I think.
Well, I mean, it feels like home when we were there.
It feels like home when we're there. But, you know, a lot of our friends are very like, the conversations are very X-rated, and it's just like this and this, and who are you hooking up with? And this. So I would only imagine that a game that is associated and it's an adult game would be a little kind of out there. But for Noella, somehow this passed over her. Once she was explained to by Heather, like what the card said, she's like, oh my gosh, that horrifies me. But can we stop? Can we stop with this? And Heather's like, I'm not done. You know what? You're not giving me this moment to explain to you. You keep cutting me off. I wasn't finished, but yes, we could be done with this. This is why I don't want to have this conversation with her. And Noella's like, I feel like she's reaching, but I'm watching this and I see what's happening. Noella sees that the rest of the women are on this Heather Dubrow train of, look at this beautiful resort that she booked for us, the casitas, there's plans, there's private jets, and she feels like everybody is on the Heather train and trying to kiss Heather's ass, and I'm not going to do that. But I think that she's trying so hard to be on the opposite end of that spectrum that she's not even willing to, like, this was a moment where I agree with the women. All you have to do, you don't have to sit there and kiss anybody's ass and apologize, but just acknowledge, you know what?
In one word, it was just a misunderstanding.
That's all it was.
It was a misunderstanding. I shouldn't have gotten that gift. Heather overreacted. Noella overreacted. Everyone's overreacting. It's just when Noella hit me wrong.
She didn't overreact. She didn't even say anything to her.
But she didn't hear where it was coming from. Like, she didn't know Noella bought that on Amazon and like gifted it or whatever. Like, you know,
I don't know if that was an overreaction.
The overreaction was the straight fragility comment that came from Noella. Because I'm sitting here like, why are we doing that? Like, because I feel like you're pulling cards for no reason, like Heather said. And then Heather said that she has multiple kids of different sexualities, which is the first time I think we're hearing this. It's not just Max. We don't know. But
yeah, well, and she said, yeah, exactly. Yes.
And it's not her place to tell the world. It's of course,
no, it's her kids'
they
place.
Want to share it.
And I like that she approaches it like this. But, you know, Jason and I were even watching this with my mom, and I'm like, that. Could you imagine? I said that to my mom. I was like, could you imagine if somebody said, you don't understand, even though your son's gay because you have straight fragility? Like I have such compassionate parents who, you know, like I was blown away by the amount of support and love that I got after coming out and sharing, like, hey, listen, this is what I felt my whole life. This is my partner in life. Like, it's not going to be as traditional as what we thought it would be, but this is what it was. and they were so supportive. And I couldn't imagine saying somebody going up to my parents and being like, you don't understand Adam because of your straight fragility. I'm like,
but it's
not
so
fair.
weird for me to say, because I feel like a lot of our friends, especially in LA, are straight and here, and we don't
Do we
feel
have
any
straight
kind of,
friends?
yeah, we have a lot of straight friends. I think more straight friends than gay friends, but like there's
What
no
straight friends
judgment.
do we have?
Half the people we hung out with in LA. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much
Yeah,
all the
you're
people who
right.
work at Pump.
Yes,
You
you're
know?
right. You're right. I'm just kidding. No, we have friends from everywhere. From
Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah. I don't think it's just,
yeah.
straight fragility. That's a different kind of term. That's something I haven't heard of.
She
But
even said in the moment too. She's like, I think I made that word up. I don't know, but straight fragility.
she did. She certainly did. There's uncomfortableness with people who are not exposed to different things or ways of life. I understand that. But when you use that term, you're trying to paint her as something. And we already know what Heather is. She's fancy pants. We don't need any other titles around Heather, because that is what she is.
I want to bring up this comment too, only
Sure.
because I appreciate Angelica's comment. Heather's comment about her kid's sexuality gave me my best friend is black vibes. See, from what I was trying to gather from this is
I think it's a different situation.
I think it was a different situation. I think Heather was saying, my children in my home, if you come to me and you want to say that I want to date, in a man, a woman, this race, this ethnicity, this age, like we are an open household to having the conversation. So don't paint me like I am not accepting of my child, because Heather has made it known before even filming. One of the reasons that she wanted to film was to help her daughter, Max, put out her story, share her story, because she might be helping other teenagers out there who watch Bravo who have an issue coming out. And to be fair, and I was reading comments where people were like, she's 17, like the world has changed, grow up. That's not for anyone to say. I was 21 when I told my family. I made Jason hide it for a year. I was so terrified. We have a 10-year age gap. He was 30 and he said, Adam, I'm an entire grown ass man. I don't want to hide my life and who I'm with. And I was like, please, like I'm not comfortable. And
it's a different situation. I think when you're a mother and you have a kid who is, exploring their sexuality or not really knowing where they stand, or maybe they've always known like I have, or maybe like you have, then it is race. I just think it was like Joe Mendoza just said, she replaced the white with straight and tried to make it a thing. And that really wasn't what was going on. That wasn't the situation. I would think Noella, as a bisexual person, would understand having a mother who has bisexual or LGBTQIA plus kids. I thought she would be more understanding for that. So she lost me there.
It seemed like a little bit of and I'm learning to like Noella, and I always give any new housewife.
Hey, listen, Noella is still, I'm still here for Noella. Don't get me wrong.
Us drama.
Okay? Don't get me wrong.
And I always want to give, like for Sutton, her first season of Beverly Hills, I wasn't a huge fan. But then I liked her second season. Dr. Wendy Osefo, when she came on Potomac, her first season, I was like, I like you, but will you last? And then her next season, I was like, oh shit, she's amazing. Like, I think you have to give them a second. This is not a normal setting to have cameras on cameras in your face, and then a ton of people who you're calling your ensemble cast members, your co-housewives, whatever, who are waiting for any little tidbit to come out to take you out and use it as a storyline. It's not normal. So I always like to give a pass for a first season. And then if you've been around for like 6-7 years and you're like Lisa Rinna and you're like, I have this friend Denise Richards of 20 years, and yeah, so what, I'm on the show.
You're coming into a show also, like Noella's coming to a show. We've always said if Heather's coming back, we need someone to match Heather and like kind of be the opposite to Heather, because
she does that.
Heather is very like controlling of the situation. She's like, this is what we're doing. We're going to go to the villa now. We're doing this, and it has to be like this. And if you don't follow these rules or do what I say, then it's wrong. So we have the opposite now. We have Noella coming in who's like, fuck it. I don't care what the hell I do. And that's great for television. We're season 16 of The Real Housewives of Orange County.
Yes.
Like, we need to bring in energy. It has to happen.
This was actually a funny comment. Sarah Beatty said, Noella actually reminds me of the lady from Real Housewives of New York with the prosthetic leg, Aviva Drescher.
Aviva.
Okay. Who could be the opposite of Heather?
Good question.
Me, because I'm broke. I'll be the opposite of Heather. Just put me right up there with Heather. It'll be fine.
Because we have 24,000 less square feet.
Yes, we have. Yes, exactly. And do the math. She has 25,000 square feet. So we have 24,000 less. That's it.
That's what I just said, girl.
And we don't have state taxes, which I don't know how she affords that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anyways,
Yeah.
getting back to it. This was an interesting episode. I was here for it. I was waiting for the X-rated comment to be called out. I want to see how we move forward through this and how the women continue to get on, because we're only on episode 8, 16, 24. We're about 1/3 of the way through, unless it's about a 20 to 22 episode season with the reunion. Let's say that we're a little over 1/3 of the way through, and it's every single episode is giving me the drama. I thought this reboot, I still feel like this reboot has kept my attention. It's been interesting. I think that it's actually working out in their favor. By the way, I didn't even realize, but right now Andy Cohen is getting his Walk of Fame, a Hollywood star. So congratulations to Andy Cohen. We still want you to mention us on Watch What Happens Live when you reference our interviews. We love you though. And then, you know, I don't even know where I was going with that. The point is, you know,
the point is, listen, okay, you were talking about the revamp and how, you know, we kind of literally bringing Heather back and making Heather a thing, and like even that trailer where Heather's back kind of thing that lasted way too long. It kind of cleaned the slate. You kind of forgot about, okay, Kelly Dodd and all that dramatic. And when I say we need energy and we need someone to be kind of the opposite of Heather, I mean, we need a Kelly Dodd, but not a Kelly Dodd. You know, we don't need the inappropriateness, but we need the dramatics that we get and that Noella provides. And I feel like it's a good contrast in the show. And I'm really liking pretty much everyone, you know, even Jen sharing, you know, I think that's something we didn't touch on, but Jen sharing how she doesn't really get any, you know, validation, validity, and support and emotion from Ryan. Actually, that's what I'm really excited to see next week is that relationship and how it's, you know.
Yes, I agree. All right, so there's a lot to look forward to. Tess-ish said, yeah, Andy, congrats on the star. Now mention Adam or get him to be a bartender on Watch What Happens Live or something, like Jolene was saying. I always love the comments I get about Jolene, because even though you and I will listen to her in the car sometimes, obviously we can't catch every single video. And I always have people who like come in and they say how nice she talks about us, which in these YouTube streets, sometimes it's really hard to find people who talk nice about you, because everybody feels like it's a competition when really there's a billion people who are watching. So there's room for everyone. Oh, Jason, the Andy shade is hilarious. Okay. All right, guys, with that, we need Kelly Dodd with Heather Money. Oh God, we don't need this.
No, we don't need that.
No,
we don't need, and no one needs any of that. Like both of them. Like there's like even Fox News was done with Rick Leventhal. Like what does that say? You know,
no one. Yeah, we need that. Said no one ever. No. Okay.
No. And I feel like we have it now, but I'm excited for next week. And yeah,
definitely. Heather should stay. Oh, Jason. No, not the Dodd. Okay. All right, guys. Well, with that, we will be back on Sunday to recap the Real Housewives of Miami on Jason's channel. Back on Monday, we're starting back up Wake Up and Adam every morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, which is 6:30 a.m. Pacific. We will be recapping Real Housewives of New Jersey every single week. Zach thinks that we're doing it on Tuesday nights, but I need to have a conversation with him. We have to do it on Wednesday mornings because I cannot do a video at 12 p.m. at night. It's not going to happen. And there's a lot coming up. We're getting back to like normal programming, but I do want to say we have an incredible interview. I don't want to tell you who it's with until it happens, because I always get afraid in case it doesn't happen. I don't want to tease it, but incredible interview coming your way in March. We have a 3-city tour that's a part of a much bigger picture coming in April. We're going to LA, we're going to New York, we're going to Nashville. We sold out the VIP tickets in a matter of hours. If you guys want to join us, you want to join some of your favorite content creators, co-collaborators, and I'm telling you, a lot of people that you watch not only on TV, but on YouTube, listen to their podcasts, you listen to their jokes because maybe they're a famous comedian. I don't know. Zach won't let me talk about it.
I know you can't talk about it, but you know, if you guys look at some of social media and you see what's happening, I mean, especially like Jolene, you should go follow her. You'll see some of the exciting talent that is going to be in the different cities. And, you know, I think everyone brings their own community too. So it's going to be so cool to see all of the communities meet up and all of the people. LA is, I mean, every city I think you guys have, there is something special planned, whether it's before, during the show, after the show. You will not even know who is showing up to this. And it's going to be amazing. Your guest list is amazing. The guests that you're interviewing. So I'm excited.
Gonna be incredible. It's going to be incredible. All right. So with that, guys, if you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell and go buy your tickets, spillingtealive.com. We will see you so very soon. I have pre-records dropping your way. Jason and I are running on like 3-4 hours of sleep. We're probably going to
go the past 5 days. Yep.
Yeah. The past 5 days. We're probably going to go take mom out to dinner, and I don't know. We have 5 videos dropping today. Go watch the Heather McDonald Juicy Scoop episode and let me know what you think.
So
think
good.
Absolute hit. I can't wait. I hope she invites me back. I don't know. We'll see.
I think that's in the works. I think it's in the works. I really, she's a cool person. Cool people.
I'm so excited for the New York City show. Yes, Janelle. We will see you then. All right, guys.
Now we haven't been back to New York since we lived there.
Yes, I know.
That's crazy. That's years.
Over 600 people plus in the room. Thank you, guys. You are the best. You're both so damn handsome. Thank you. Thank you. We will see you guys soon. If you guys aren't following Jason, make sure to go check him out on Down with Jason on YouTube. He just hit 10.1 thousand subscribers. I can't believe you hit 10,000 subscribers.
Yeah, we're doing some branding changes and everything. You'll see. It's all coming your way. It's gonna be cool.
Congratulations again. And it was so effing funny. Go watch, everyone. Adam was awesome on Juicy Scoop. Thank you. Shut the front door. We got to party it up while y'all are in town. Oh, Janelle. We'll talk.
You don't even know, girl. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Or maybe we don't know. I don't know. Okay. Bye, guys.